All right, my good friends, it is Monday morning. This is not a homework assignment. So, like I said on Friday's lecture, your homework was going to end Friday night, so that you do have an Ed puzzle video to finish by today, like at 9 o'clock. But this is not for homework. So what happened on like Wednesday and Thursday and Friday of last week? All this stuff came out about the new updated revised exam for the AP test. So we knew it was going to be 45 minutes, and you should be getting emails from it's called the College Board. So if you haven't been checking your email, you haven't seen anything, just go in and do a search within your email and type in College Board, and you'll find all the updates. Oh, hi, Kevy.
Hi.
You want to say hi?
Hi, Daddy.
Okay. I love you. Okay. Okay, that was real life there, boys and girls. All right, so getting back to what I said, they came up with a 45-minute version of the test. I guess like all subjects are going to be 45 minutes. So before that, a lot of teachers thought it was going to be like some multiple choice questions, but then they came out and said that they were worried about cheating, so they didn't do multiple choice questions. Then we thought it would be an SAQ question because you had like maybe 3 SAQs, which would be right about 45 minutes, and some people thought it would like more accurately test your knowledge because it could be from 3 different topics. But it is going to be one kind of just switched up DBQ. So it's going to be kind of an abbreviated DBQ. The big difference when we've been writing our DBQs, we've had like 7 to 9 documents. This DBQ is only going to have 5 documents. 4 of them are going to be text documents, like reading a paragraph. I'll give you a source, and that's your document for that number. And then one of them is going to be a non-text based, like a map, a chart, a painting, that kind of stuff. So there's only going to be 5, and you only have to write about 4, which is nice. You also are going to be taking that at home, which would be nice. You just want to make sure your computer is reliable. It doesn't like crash on you. You want to be probably plugged in. If it's a laptop, you want to make sure everything's charged. Close down all the other things. Like I always have 1,000 things up here, so close those down and have only your exam going at that time. But we'll go over that a little bit later. But so what we need to do is we need to realize, how do we get better at writing DBQs? Which we're off to a decent start. We'd be off to a great start if we were still in school, but can't do anything about that. Also, what to note is, I'm drawing a blank here. Okay, what I wanted to say is that May 21st is our new test date. It was May 14th. Now it's May 21st, which gives us another week. But we got like an extra week basically of spring break, so that does take some time away. I will be posting some stuff on spring break, but it won't be homework stuff. It will be like practice stuff to get ahead if you'd like to do some practice on thesis statements and context, that kind of stuff. So, okay, sorry, I've had to stop. My boys are being kind of crazy here this morning, but we will go over this here real quick. So if that just got choppy, I think you pick up the gist of what's going on. All right, so here is a nice graphic of the new DBQ, which I'm going to share with you. I'm just going to put this up here. I'm going to share this with you. Okay, so it's really similar to the old thing, but the old DBQ was 7 points. This is going to be worth 10 points. So you still get a point for context. Describes a broad historical context relevant to the prompt. you still get a point for your thesis statement. So just 2 points there. So we said after the first paragraph, you should be leaving with 2 points, hopefully. So we said like 3 facts in your context. It's got to be about the situation going on they're talking about. So if they're talking about the Atlantic slave trade, you got to be giving us facts about what is going on around Africa or the Americas during the Atlantic slave trade. Now, what's going on in the Americas 200 years after the slave trade or 200 years before the slave trade? Your thesis statement responds to the prompt with a historically defensible thesis or claim. So you are establishing an argument. You can maybe have an idea what your thesis statement is, but before you go and read through all the documents, don't be married to a thesis statement and then, realize what you want to write about is going to change after you read all the documents. So have a good thesis statement in mind, and hopefully we're leaving the first paragraph with 2 points. The big thing is they say that the AP teachers that I talk to, I'm part of a Facebook group of AP World History teachers, looks like this. They just post all kinds of different stuff here. But we'll really need to go into all that. They say one of the big problems is your thesis is you're not taking an argument. You're just stating a fact. So some people say their thesis is a fact. Like they would say, like the Atlantic slave trade occurred from Africa to the Americas. That's a fact. That's not something you can argue. Like what you could argue is that the Atlantic slave trade disrupted the continent of Africa for the next 300 years. Okay, so make sure your thesis is responding to an argument. Okay, here's a big difference. Here's where it kind of all changes here. Okay, so the D and the C here. You're getting 5 documents. You only have to talk about 4 documents. If you can talk about 4 documents and tie those 4 documents to your thesis, then you can get 2 points right there. It used to be you had to talk about 6 documents to get 2 points. Now they're only asking you to talk about 4 documents. Also, a big mistake that people make when they're talking about sources is that they just summarize what the source says. They just tell us, they regurgitate what the source was saying. In like the Industrial Revolution, you just like made a quote, like you just cherry picked a quote from a document, from a source. You need to tie your documents back to your argument. Don't just tell us what the source is saying. We can all read those. We want to see how you're helping make this sources back up your argument. Also, the next point, you can get 2 points for hipping a document. Hipping was another thing for sourcing. Some teachers say hap, but we just say hip. Historical significance. What's going on? Why would this source be writing this at this time period? I was the intended audience. P was the point of view. So point of view of the person, and we'll go into that a little bit more. Point of view is not first hand or second hand. Point of view means like what side are they on? What's their point of view of a certain situation? And then the last P was a purpose. Why was the source created? Like if it was a journal entry, a diary entry, it was just maybe created for future historians to see. If it's a letter to a newspaper, the purpose was to persuade the public. If it's a letter to the king, its purpose is to persuade a king to do a certain thing. So we will get into all that. So the big change here, so now you get 2 points for only having to talk about 4 documents. But remember, there's only 5, so it might be hard for you to pick 4 out of 5 to talk about. But I think you can do it. So you only have to do 4 instead of 6, and then you get 2 points if you can source two documents. Source it, tell us the historical significance, intended audience, purpose, point of view, etc. And then this is also a change right here. You are getting outside evidence. You're getting 2 points for outside evidence. It says uses specific historical evidence beyond what is found in the documents relevant to an argument about the prompts. So you can bring in two facts that are related to what's going on, and if you can bring in two facts, you get 2 points. And now I will say they do say it's an open notes DBQ, and I think that's why they went with the DBQ instead of the multiple choice, because maybe like they said, like a DBQ is not Googleable. I just made up a word there. It's not Googleable, but multiple choice can be Googleable. So they do say it's open notes. So all that, like, I'll be making spice charts for you, and I'll be doing some other things for you, and we'll have Quizlets and stuff. You can have all kinds of things printed out, and chances are, if they're only giving you 5 documents, this should be pretty easy to find 2 outside pieces of evidence, and you get 2 points for that. The last point was the unicorn point they talked about. It means like when the graders read these, if they get the complexity point, it means that they have a complex essay through in and throughout. Then they throw the essay in the middle of the table, and then other people read how good it is. And it says unicorn point does not happen very often. So I want to thank Miss Greeley for kind of keeping everybody up to speed and up to loop. She's been following all the AP changes. So the good thing is we still get a chance for college credit. Another good thing is that it's a week later, so we have one more week to prepare, so that's good. Another good thing is that the multiple choice thing can be very tricky, can be frustrating. You don't necessarily, maybe you can't prepare for a multiple choice as much as you can prepare for a DBQ. The thing that we're not going to know is the topic until the test day, which is fine, because once we go through all of our review, any topic, since there's only 6 units, should be something that we're pretty well versed in. At this point, you should have read all of Unit 1's review PowerPoint. There was just a few slides we didn't go over. We will be moving into Unit 2. We're going to be moving into trade networks. So what I want to do now is bring this up. I will put a link in on your Google Classroom on this post. I'll be we've already done this like way back in September probably. This was a Mongols DBQ, and it says the Mongols, how barbaric were the barbarians? Okay, and let's see, somewhere, let me just pause this real quick. Okay, so let me tell you what I think you should be doing over spring break. This is not mandatory, but this is what I think you should be doing over spring break if you want some practice. And actually, you should be doing even more than this if you want to get ready for the AP test. I'm not requiring anything. I think this school is very adamant about giving you a break from online education over the spring break. So we kind of have conflicting things here because we have to really get ready for our AP test. But the school is very adamant about just giving you guys a break, which I'm pro. I think you do need a break from all this online stuff. But I will be posting stuff just to help you out. Nothing due, nothing. I'm not going to say, okay, I'll post everything the second week of spring break. And if you don't want homework, just do it all over spring break and you'll have no homework that when we get back. I'm just going to be posting stuff that is optional. Would help you out. You can always look at it, but it's not ever going to be homework. All right, so this thing here is a Mongol DBQ. Let me just put the link here. It's right here. You should be able to access it as a PDF. You just have to open this link. And you need to write a DBQ with what they give you. Says, please analyze. I came up with the prompt myself because they didn't really have a clear prompt in this set of documents. So I said, please analyze the political, social, and economic impact of the Mongols on world history prior to the age of exploration. So they're asking you to do three things. The political, okay, so a lot of different things. They established 4 different areas, and more than that, like they created their own empire, the One Empire in China. Social, they were cultural carriers because they opened up the Silk Road. They carried Buddhism, they carried Islam. A lot of people converted to different religions because of the Mongols. They carried technology and just innovation. Okay, so that's big. Economic is huge with the Mongols. They were money makers. They made the Silk Road safer than ever. They said that one man could walk through the entire length of the road without with a pot of gold on his head and never be touched. Because if you mess with somebody on the Silk Road when the Mongols were controlling of it, good luck. You were going to be in trouble because they were going to execute you, and it wasn't going to be fun. Okay, so they asked you to do 3 things in this set of documents. So I'm saying please use documents 1 through 5. They give you like 10 documents or something. Let's say 10 documents. We are going to do 1 through 5. So this first intro is not a document. So there's document 1, document 2, document 3, document 4, and document 5. So we actually have 2 non-text documents. In a real DBQ, you'd only have 1 non-text one. This is a Persian shooting a Mongol soldier. The Persians were very mad at the Mongols for trying to take over the Abbasid Caliphate, and so they were shooting one with bows and arrows, and they were burying the other ones alive. So please use documents 1 through 5. Okay, so here's how you get your points for the DBQ. The context, 3 facts about what's going on in the world around 1200 AD in relation to the Mongols. Thesis, does your thesis respond to all questions in the prompt? You should leave the first paragraph with 2 points still. Documents, you need to discuss 4 documents. So you can knock 1 out of the 5 out of your knock 1 out of 5 that you want to talk about. So you talk about 4, don't summarize them, tie them back to your thesis statement. Then HIP, 2 documents. Who was the source? So historical context, what's going on? Intended audience, who is it being made for? Purpose, why is it being created? Point of view, what does the creator feel? So like we've looked a lot about imperialism, like the point of view. If it was an imperialism essay, has a lot to do with whether the author supported imperialism or they were against imperialism. Outside evidence, bring in 2 facts that these documents don't tell you about the Mongols. And then complexity is, again, the unicorn point, very hard to get. Shows you develop a highly complex essay. They say it's a 10-point DBQ now. They would be looking for, if you could get 6 out of 10, they would think that there's a shot you would get a 3 and pass the AP test with 6 out of 10. So basically it's get a point here, that's 2. Get 2 points there, that's 4. Get 2 points there is 6. And here's 2 points that are 8. So I think it's definitely achievable. You'd have to double check my math. I think I only showed you like 9 points, but if you just refer to the rubric up here, it tells you where all your points come from. And then somebody said like a 6 would probably be good enough for a 3. All right, I'm going to stop there. Again, this is not homework, but this is what you want to do if you want to practice for the DBQ over this very long break. Also, thanks to Miss Greeley, who is helping us out a lot with dates and get us set up for the AP test.